Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. Sorry for the light because it's cloudy here in Thailand. It's been cloudy like forever. In today's topic of conversation, we're going to talk about race baiting. Race baiting, I think, is a serious problem that's been going on lately, and I think it hinders and hurts the communities that these leaders who race bait claim to love, protect, and want to uplift. So what's a race baiter? Let me look up the definition because I have been enjoying doing that because it's a good way to start a conversation. Race baiter. Race baiting. Let's see what that means. Race baiting. A noun. The use of radical derisive language, actions, and other forms of communication in order to anger or intimidate or coerce. Let's use the Urban Dictionary of race baiting. See what that has to say. Urban Dictionary, race baiting. Attempting to cloud logic and facts by appealing to emotional through false accusations of racial discrimination, a favorite spin tactic of politicians used to manipulate people of low intelligence. Ooh, low intelligence. Oh. Okay, so race baiting, baiting people using radical inflammatory issues or stereotypes. Note, some people consider making accusations of racism where there are likely none to be race baiting. This is tricky because it hinges on the viewpoint of the person who is judging whether or not racism is involved. I mean, it's the perspective of that person. It is possible to underestimate the possibility of racism. Thus, some people say people who are using the race card when they are legitimately concerned that racism is a factor. Using the race card is in itself not race baiting. Use the race card in order to bait people is called race baiting. Is actions against racism race baiting if it's done in order to increase political action? I think to do so. Race baiting using very, very emotionally charged words to accuse someone of being racist, misogynist, biased, homophobic, transphobic, a neo-Nazi, when there is little to no likelihood that that's actually going on. And it is kind of tricky sometimes to say whether someone's race baiting or someone's using the race card when it should be none, because sometimes it is really in the eye of the beholder. It's the perspective of the person who's experiencing it. But I do think a lot of smart people in higher positions understand that race is still an emotional, deeply emotional and hurtful issue to a lot of people, and I think they use that. They play on people's emotions, people's anger, people's bitterness, and people's resentment to uplift themselves politically, to win a popularity contest, or to line their pockets with green money. I very much despise anyone who is a race baiter. I think it's disgusting because I think like you are literally doing this at the cost of other people that you say that you want to love and uplift and protect. I do think people who race bait, I do think there are a lot of people who race bait or use the race cards are not trying to do that. I think a lot of them maybe truly think that there is racism involved, and I think they think that because maybe there is actual racism involved, or is their past hurts and pains is clouding their perspective of actually what's going on. And I do think that a lot of people who do that do have a heart and a love and desire to help their community and think that, you know, constantly pointing out racism is the way to go. I have a different opinion about that. But again, I do think that there are very powerful leaders, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's on social media, or whether it's in politics, that use race baiting for their own political or ideology or financial gain, and I think it's disgusting. And I think more people in the Black community need to point these things out, because a lot of times when it's pointed out, it's usually pointed out by someone who's outside the community. And race baiting is, like, I know it's called race baiting, but there's other forms of this, like I guess in the feminist community, where calling every guy or every person or everything, if you disagree with me, you're a misogynist and blah blah blah. There's other forms of this, but right now we're just talking about race. I point out some corporates or some people who I feel are guilty of race baiting. Nasheed, Frannie from Decoded, MTV Period, and BuzzFeed. And then on the feminist side, it can be Anita Sarkeesian. There are people, these people I definitely think are very much guilty of race baiting. And then other people that aren't that famous. I watch a lot of pro-black and separatist YouTube because I want to understand what they think, and I do agree with some of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that all things are wrong. I'm just saying that I see a lot of people, a lot of black people on social media that I feel like are race baiters, are just trying to sort of keep the narrative going. Again, but I am not saying there isn't racism, and I'm not even saying there is not an unconscious bias against people. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that there is race baiting happening, and I think it's disgusting, and I think it needs to stop. Let's take Nasheed for example. I mean, it doesn't take that much research. Just Google, or you can just go on his YouTube page and scroll down a little bit, and you can see that he wasn't always the Tariq Nasheed that he tries to portray himself out to be now. You know, having videos about bitches and hoes and how to fucking a girl and all these things. Like, and besides that, he has been blatantly caught editing things to fit his narrative. Like when I think it was a Time magazine or some cover in the magazine of all the women who accused Bill Cosby of rape or sexual assault, he literally purposely cropped all the black women out to say, like, look at all these white women. It's like, you crop. It was like obvious. It was like blatantly obvious. And I don't really understand why people still follow him or even listening to him or believe him, because it's obvious that he depends on racism to pay his bills. He depends on people being angry at white people to pay his bills. He depends on that. Like, he doesn't want racism to end. That is the last thing he wants. Then he won't get paid for talking appearances anymore. People wouldn't buy his book. He needs racism to be. He needs it to be strong. He needs to be out there. He would grovel. He would drool at the idea of there being a police shooting, because there's another thing that he can go yell about and use to put his own gain. He's using other people's hurt, and he's appropriating the past hurts and pains of our ancestors to boast his bank account. And it's quite obvious, and it's sad, and it really pissed me the fuck off. And again, Frannie does the same thing, and Frannie herself has said things to hint to this, like when she was at the YouTube convention thing and she was on stage and she was belittling some white guy who may or may not had a speech impediment, and how she got paid to say these things. She got paid to be here. She got paid to be on the speaking panel. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being paid for what you have to say. There's nothing wrong with that. But when money becomes more and more a factor, you have to start to question what people are saying and be critical about what people are saying. Critical thinking. So the fact of the matter is, if Frannie woke up today or tomorrow or whatever, and she had an epiphany and she was like, everything I'm saying is horrible and I don't want to think like this anymore, and I want to tell the world how I really feel and that this is all bullshit. Not that I'm saying it's all bullshit, but I'm just saying if she woke up one morning and decided she had a revelation and she didn't want to do this anymore, her bank account would be severely damaged. She would be severely hit. And right now, it seems like that is all her income. Her income is having these talks about how racist all white people are and how misogynist all men are. That is her money. That pays her bills. If she starts saying other things, she will get fired from MTV. She would not be hired for speaking engagements anymore. Again, there is nothing wrong with being hired or being paid for what you say. Everybody has the right to do that. I'm just saying, when money becomes more and more and more a factor, and it kind of, when you are kind of controlled and being told like this is the things you can say and this is the things you can say, you have to start to question why are people actually saying what they have to say. You have to think a bit more critical about it. MTV, race bait, BuzzFeed, like, I mean, come on, like, and I feel like these establishments do not give two shits about the community that they say they want to uplift. Like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was always termed the first black president because he really cared about black community, but he's the one that really put mass incarceration out. He put it out there. He started it. He put a stamp of approval on it. And mass incarceration is one of the big issues in the black community. So people might say and do a song and dance about how much they love the community and how much they want to uplift the community, but you have to really see where is it really coming from, and if what they're saying is actually uplifting. In my opinion, and I'm just going to touch on this a little bit because I'm going to do another video about this, I don't think constantly telling the people that you want to uplift that you are oppressed is uplifting. I don't think that helps. I don't think that inspires anybody to become anything. Constantly handing out the perpetual victim cards to the people that you say you want to uplift, I don't think that helps. And this is the example that I usually try to give to explain myself. And if a grown-ass person wants to claim their victimness and wants to label themselves oppressed all day and every day, that is your prerogative. If you want to do that, do it. I don't care. You're grown. But I think about the children, and I think about the younger generation. So if you had a little boy, a little girl, and it can be any color, really, but let's just concentrate on black because the video is race baiting. You had a little black girl or a little black boy looking up to you and looking for advice and wisdom on how to improve their lives and how to go out to the world and be just amazing and have victorious lives and successful lives. Which two narratives do you think would help that kid? Do you think looking down at that kid and going, oh baby, poor you, like, you're oppressed though, and you're a victim, and you will always be a victim because white people hate you, white America hates you, they want to kill you, they want to destroy you. Doesn't matter if you ever achieve anything, you're still just another nigga to them. So there you go. Do you think that is what's going to uplift that child and motivate them and make them want to do better? Or do you think saying, you can do it, you are successful, here are examples of successful black men and women, here are examples of successful black homes and black love and fathers staying with their children, here are examples of how you can uplift. I'm going to give you high standards. I'm going to have you set high standards for yourself so you can compete in a world that I think might already be tilted the other way, so you can compete with your white counterparts. I'm going to uplift you and give you words of encouragement and positivity. Do you think that's going to uplift that child, or do you think constantly telling that child they're oppressed is going to uplift that child? I mean, you choose. Like, which one do you think is going to help? And I understand if people want to come from the place of, I'm only claiming oppression, I'm only telling the community they are oppressed so we can be aware of what's going on, so we can notice our oppression, so we can fix it. And so we can call out racism and biases when we see it. But I never really see that conversation. I never see the conversation of how do we overcome this? How do we fix this? It's usually very much of like, yeah, we oppressed. Yeah, At the end, I don't, so I don't get how that's helpful. Like, again, I watch a lot of these YouTube channels and shows and programs or whatever, and you get a group of black people, and I love black people. I'm not trying to condemn them. I'm just really coming from a place of care and love, because I don't think this rhetoric helps. I really don't think it helps. And you get them and they talk about the black community, and it always, like, every other person have to say, like, the white people, white men, white supremacy is always like putting that in, and you never solely putting the responsibility and the obligation, the accountability within ourselves and within that community. And I just don't think that's the rhetoric that helps. I was that little kid. I was told that I was a victim and I was oppressed in so many words. I was told that white people hated me, that white America wanted to destroy me. That in no way ever made me go like, golly gee, I'm gonna go and do the best I can now. That didn't make me want to do that. That doesn't uplift anybody, so I don't really understand why that is the rhetoric that keeps going on. I don't get why that is constantly the condoned topic of conversation. I don't feel like that uplifts or helps anybody. I'm someone who very much believes in the power of word, the power of thoughts. If you constantly keep telling yourself you're gonna get sick, or you're gonna fail, or you're a victim, then you can't be surprised how your life turns out. You can't be surprised why you're always sick, why you're always failing, and why you always feel a victim, because you keep speaking that back into your life, and you keep, what is it, cognitive behavior therapy, when you constantly, you forcefully and consciously do things differently. You constantly try to change your thought pattern, and eventually you can literally change the way you think. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a victim, I'm oppressed, I can never get out of this, then I don't understand why you think that you're ever going to get out of it if you constantly keep telling yourself. Because, like, I do believe people have a lot more power of the reality that they think they do have. And so because I believe in that, I don't understand why communities that say they love the community that they stand for constantly keep speaking this back into the community and speaking it back into themselves. For me, it's a simple change of language. Like, it's the same thing when a parent, has a child and a child does something stupid. Instead of constantly telling your child they're stupid and speaking that into your child's life, say what you did was stupid. I know how smart you are. I know how intelligent you are. Why would you do such a stupid thing? It's just a simple switch of language. So I can understand if the rhetoric in the conversation was, the society wants to oppress us. Well, we will show them we will never be oppressed. We will never be victims. We will uplift, uprise, and be victorious. We will be successful. We will be strong. We will go to school. We will get jobs. We will be entrepreneurs. We will help each other. We will build businesses. That's what we're going to do. So they want us to think we're oppressed. They want us to be oppressed, but that is something we would never be. For me, that to me is the rhetoric in the conversation that needs to be going on, not you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. Anyway, like, I was gonna do a separate video about that. Maybe I don't have to anymore. Maybe I will. We'll see. But that's the narrative that I see a lot of these people in the community that are leaders that I very much see as race baiting. And I think it's wrong, and I think more and more of us in that community, whether it's the black community or the feminist community or the women community or the LGBTQ community, needs to point that out when someone is accusing or using something to fit their narrative. I think we need to call that out, because I don't think it's helpful. I really don't. And I'm not coming from a place of condemning. I'm condemning race baiters. The ones who know exactly what they're doing for their own gain. I do think there's a lot of people that do feel like what they're doing is helpful. But I'm condemning the ones who are doing it on purpose. I'm not condemning the black community whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's helpful, and I think that we need to change our language and our conversation. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, please put in a comment in the comment section. Please put in a comment. Please put a comment in the comment section below. Damn it. If you think these certain leaders, either the political or entertainment or social media influencers or whatever, are race baiters, and how they are race baiters, please put it in a comment in the comment section below. If you think I'm full of shit and you think we need these people to say what they're saying, put it in a comment in the comment section below. If you truly believe that you are oppressed and I am oppressed and I should shut the fuck up, put it in the comment section below. If you think that you are not oppressed and that you will succeed and always will succeed, put it in the comment section below. And which form of rhetoric do you think is actually uplifting? Telling black people or women that they're constantly victims, or telling them you can fucking do it, you're amazing, you can thrive, you can survive, you can be victorious, and you can succeed even if other people are trying to oppress you? Which conversation do you think is more uplifting, or do you think we need both? Whatever you think, please put in a comment section below. I am very, very open to conversation. I'm not saying that my words are God. I'm not saying that. I'm literally just trying to have a conversation. And if you want to continue having these types of conversations, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. And thank you. And peace.